Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Oh, we're overmodulating now. People on the radio side just jumped through the roof. I apologize for that. Hey, it's one of those days. I could have told you it was going to be one of those days. And I was about to tell you it would be one of those days. But I didn't get time to tell you. It's going to be one of those days.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
It is hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Well, we'll see about that. Won't we? I'm an overmodulating bastard. An overmodulating bastard. And artificial squawk. Rockety rolling. Rocky rolling. Rolling and rocking. Rocking and rolling. Wow. Good morning, folks. Friday. October 20th, 2023. Glad you made it through the week. Hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. Not so much here. But that's what happens in October. It gets gray and bleh. I lost my Willie. I cut my Willie off today, but Willie will be back on Monday, or maybe even Sunday. You never know. He probably needs a little redemption. He might stop in the church on Sunday. You might get a chance to see him there. But today, he's got the day off. He's regrowing, as they say, as I say, because I don't know what else to say. If you're paying attention to the news, the New York Mets, Republican Party. Boy, did you fuck that one up? Start over. The Republican Party has officially renamed itself the New York Mets. They are a walking clown show. I'm a sitting clown show. They are a walking clown show. I don't know what's going on. We've gone, a couple of weeks without a Speaker of the House. Interestingly enough, Kevin McCarthy still has himself listed as Speaker of the House on his website, and on the official site of Congress, it's still listed as Speaker of the House. I guess they'll do that until they find another one, if they find another one. I'm kind of hoping this goes on until I get elected from District 3 in New York. It's not going to happen. I'm kind of hoping. You can always hope. So, that's it. We've got a good show for you today. Scotty Hollywood, a multi-instrumentalist, the Scotty Hollywood Band, which seems to be one guy, the band, the Scotty Hollywood Band. Seems to be one guy will be with us in hour one. In hour two, Steve Stoliar, who is the author of Raised Eyebrows, a book about Groucho. It looks like GD is coming in, whether we're ready or not. I think he is. He's spinning. He's out. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And just so I can get this right, Mind Dog Coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I get the shit. Mind Dog Coffee.
All right. That's true. I have to say, so do I. But that's why I drink it. It's not like that's a bad side effect for me. That helps plumbing. Yeah, it's a priming the pump a little bit. You're a terrible liar, sir. You're a terrible liar.
What do you mean?
Well, 2 days ago, you told me you were done with the garden, and then yesterday you were back in the garden, and today you're still back in the garden. Terrible.
Well, that's because I didn't lie. I was done with that part of the garden, the bulb.
You said the garden.
See, now this part isn't technically my garden. This is where I have my late cat.
Uh-oh.
One of my late cats. That's his memorial.
All
You
right.
know.
Now, yesterday it was beautiful there. Today it seemed like kind of overcast, cloudy, and shitty. Yes.
Well, it's 55 degrees, overcast with a 2% of rain until around 5 o'clock when it becomes like an 89% chance of rain.
Oh, so you better get to digging. Dig, man, dig.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to. That's what took me so long. I was like calculating the odds that I would get wet.
Now, Maryland's not that far south that you would be as green as you are over there, and not you, but your surroundings are a lot greener than here. You're not turning colors over there, changing.
Well, it depends on the tree. Like if I show you that one,
That's pretty.
yeah. And if I show you, well, that one's a little bit close. I don't know if I can aim
See, that
like
looks like a
there.
springtime color. It looks like a little pink hue to it. Maybe it's just the optics of the photograph from the phone, whatever.
That and the lighting. I have to admit I have to have good lighting when I'm outside. Otherwise, I look my age.
Right. Which is 24, 25. Ha ha ha.
Oh
Uh,
man,
have you heard of the Vegas nerve?
the Vegas Murph.
Vegas nerve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what happens in your Vegas nerve stays in your Vegas nerve. There's a story on why the Vegas nerve is the body's secret superhighway. I didn't know about the Vegas nerve for 63 years or 62 years of my life. I had a woman who was on the program who does Vegas nerve massages that are supposed to be. They do according to it's like when CBD first came out and they were claiming it would heal everything. Like the vagus nerve is supposedly the key to every health problem that ever existed. So
Yeah,
that's
it runs through the desert, and from your. Well, it's like the longest nerve in your body. I think it is. I
right.
think it's like almost every nerve. I think every nerve except for the one that people get on is attached to the vagus nerve.
Yep. My last nerve that people get on.
Right,
Absolutely.
and that's the only nerve that's not attached to it.
So there's a big story about that in today's buzz from Apple News. And the other big buzzworthy story is they're not 100% human. Las Vegas police, they're 100% not human. I'm sorry, I'm reading things backwards. Las Vegas police investigate multiple reports of alien sightings in Las Vegas. So the Vegas nerve, what happens in the Vegas nerve stays in the Vegas nerve, and Las Vegas is being inundated with people from other planets. Those
I
are the
don't
big
think that's a
stories.
coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence.
I don't either.
I mean that you read them, not that it is
Oh,
occurring. The fact that you read them, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think you picked them both deliberately because of the word Vegas. I
no,
don't think it's
those
coincidence.
are
No,
both
no.
offered to me by Apple News. Now, maybe it's the algorithm saying this guy likes Vegas, show him some Vegas stuff.
Well, that's true because you probably have been doing what you know. A lot of the I don't know. I'm not saying you know like him personally, but you are aware of a lot of the house comedians who are doing Vegas gigs,
Right.
and so probably cross reference.
In the Atlantic, there's a conversation starter today. Why self-checkout is a failed experiment. What do you got opinions on self-checkout?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I think it's I am opposed to it in principle, only in the sense that when they did it and they put people out of work. You
Did
know,
they?
well,
Because
yeah, in some regards, like there were some people like they were like the high school kids who might get their jobs as bag people, bag people. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
would like get their jobs and they
bad boy,
work
bad girl. Yeah, yes.
right. Yeah, and with the checkout, uh, some of the some of the those people, those people
Uh-oh.
aren't as needed as much, and they cut down on the number of cashiers in some stores. Now, in other stores, they kept the number of cashiers and they just took the space if they had it and they added like 4 checkout counters.
Right. In most of the places around here, and there's not places really close here, but the places that I go to, there is a checkout, but the people who were cashiers are now just standing there watching you do the machine. In case you have a problem, then they come over and they do their little blah blah blah, blah and fix it up for you. But
Right.
there's generally 2 or 3 of them. I'm against
But
it in principle too. The thing is, I'm against it in principle, but I will go to it every single time because I hate fucking people. So I don't want to deal with the cashier. I'd rather deal with the machine that I can curse at and call it stupid rather than a human where I'm restricted by the laws of society from calling it a stupid motherfucker. I can call a machine a stupid motherfucker.
well, and the machine actually appreciates it because that's probably the way they were raised. You
Right.
know, they're used to that. You know, it's like it's not abuse to them. It's like, oh, I'm home.
Right. So I'm not sure it failed. Because it seems to be work for me, it's much faster. Listen, the fucking people you talk about those kids that were put out of work, they fucking have no math skills whatsoever. And if the calculator or computer doesn't give them the answer, they are stuck.
Oh
And
my god, yeah, yeah. You give somebody they'll go, yes, that would be 1943. You'll say, okay, let me give you 18 cents,
yeah,
and they'll look at you like, and I say, well, now you give me 75 cents. That's a quarter, and they're like, wait, what?
it's
And then
much worse than that. It could be 99 cents. You give them $1 and they can't figure out the change.
well, that could also be that if depending on the neighborhood, they just don't want to touch the brown change.
Oh yeah, that's true.
it's like that's like you keep it, just keep it.
Definitely. So Willie's off today. I wonder if he's getting rest or he's up and actually listening to this. Because last time he took the morning off, he was actually just sitting there listening to this. Like, what's the point? The point of taking a day off is to catch up with on the rest that you've been losing by doing a little pornographic karaoke shows on the internet at night. So,
And I was torn about what to do with my downtime, which turns out I didn't have any, but because the Groucho guy, and I don't even know his name, I feel bad. What's his name?
Steve Stoliar.
Stolia. I have a book called Groucho File, the Groucho File, which to me was like the quintessential Groucho book back when I got it. And I was going to like bone up on Groucho because again, he was my idol when I was a kid. And
I let you get it.
most of my Groucho knowledge now is like so old and rusty because he's just part of who the parts of Groucho that I liked are just part of who I am now.
Me too.
Yeah.
The mustache. No, I got to get. I should have worn my hat. I meant to get a cigar and wear my beret backwards for Steve's hair.
Damn it. See,
Yeah.
and if I was thinking, I'd have put on my charcoal marks outfit, which I am going to tell him about. I'm going to
Yeah,
ask him if there's a chance that I actually could be a sixth Groucho, a sixth Marx brother,
yeah.
charcoal.
So I've interviewed quite a few people who have been close to Groucho, but never anybody who actually kind of was in his house every single day for a while. So it should be interesting. Scotty Hollywood was the first hour, and he should be here any minute. Seems to be a guy who is a band within himself, calling himself the Scotty Hollywood Band. It looks like he does all the instruments himself. Uh, I don't know if you've got a chance to check him out.
I
Seems
haven't.
he seems like he would be good in Hollywood as a I don't know, like in made-for-TV movies a bit.
Right.
He would fit that part well. But he's a young man who's making music his own way and on independent label. And you know what? Following his dream, doing what he wants to do with his life. So we applaud that and we support that.
Now, will he be performing for us today, or
I
he's
don't
just
I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, we always have problems with licensing with that. On the radio side, we could play anything because we have a sync license that will cover everybody's uh, performance, no matter what they're performing, covers or original music. But on the YouTube side and Facebook and Twitter and every place else that we are, Twitch and Rumble,
Right.
They would get copyright infringements, and I know his music is licensed in a couple of films, so I don't think we would get
Oh,
away with that.
okay.
So anyway, I wanted to talk to you before we bring him in about. I'm sure you're aware, Sidney Powell pleaded guilty yesterday. Kind of, kind of shocked a lot of people. A lot of people weren't ready for that. I kind of was because she's an unindicted co-conspirator in the Jack Smith case, and I
Right.
thought, well, the only reason for her to be unindicted is that she's cooperating. So when she pleaded guilty yesterday, I wasn't all that shocked, but a lot of people are. This spells doom for the big guy for Don Gotti.
Yeah, I am hoping that it spells consequences as well, not
Yeah,
just doom, but real consequences, the serious kind, the kind that you know the kind of that the way that people felt, the opposite of the way people felt when OJ got away.
right. Yeah, yeah. I get it. Now, there's something that I think people are overlooking with Sidney Powell. Um, on September 21st, September 20th of 2021, she gave an interview with Stu Peters. You know Stu Peters?
Is he a comedian? Because I
No,
don't. If he no,
he
no, no, I don't know.
no, he's a right wing. I thought he was on Newsmax or OAN or something, but it's just a podcaster, really. But
Okay.
he's just like one of the goofiest guys, and I can't believe he's doing better than us financially. When you take a look at him, you look at how could people be watching this fucking idiot? He's the kind of guy even if you weren't a bully, you'd want to beat up in high school. Like he still looks like you still want to beat him up. Anyway, she did his show, and unwittingly or unknowingly, she confessed to all this and also gave the reason that Trump did not want to stop the riot and all that kind of stuff. Basically, they were trying to get Alito to sign an injunction based on some obscure language in the 12th Amendment to stop the count. On
Right.
January 6th, they were trying to get Alito to sign this injunction, and they were just waiting for time. So Trump was refusing to say anything to stop the riot. The riot was supposed to be a distraction to hold off the
Right.
vote. And she admitted that on air with Stu Peters then at that time. And I don't think she meant to kind of come right out and confess to the crime on air, but she did. And if that's what she's going to tell the prosecutors, that Trump ordered this to continue and refused to do anything to stop it, I think, as much as anybody wants to be in the cult at that point, it's like confession time, man. You're
And they'll still stay in the cult. That 30% of
they'll
the
still vote
Republican
for him.
Party, yeah, they'll vote for him. They will, and some of them will do more than that.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for marching orders. But here's the funny thing to me. I shouldn't say curious thing to me. Uh, these people are attorneys,
Right.
okay, which is one of the reasons why I think attorneys are a necessary evil. Just they I don't think we should have them. I don't think they should exist, but because people are always looking for dishonorable ways to do things, we need attorneys.
All right. Let me just stop you there for a second. This is a disclaimer. The opinions expressed on this program or those of the guests, host, the guests, and do not nourish blah blah blah. Yesterday, I interviewed an attorney firm who might be a sponsor. So,
Well, okay. Then I will make this clear. I will make this clear in a way that doesn't offend good attorneys.
right.
Okay, there are things in the law. There are the Constitution, and then there's the spirit of the law. And let's say the spirit of the law says people should not be discriminated against. I'm just
Right.
saying the spirit of the law, that we should all be
Right.
treated equally. And then some yahoo goes, yeah, but I don't want to serve black people. And he's on a public street and he's using currency, which is government backed, and a street that is paid for with tax dollars that do not discriminate for the most part. Well, they don't take money from rich people, but other than that, and this person goes, I don't want to serve black people. And then there's an attorney out there who will go, I will represent you.
Right.
It's like, no, just the spirit of the law says, no, you don't discriminate. Equal opportunity.
Yeah,
And the sheer fact
that
that,
part of the legal profession, that they're almost bound to take cases, even if you disagree with it, the spirit of the law, that you're almost bound to that part of the lawyer's creed. That
but
bothers
that's
me.
in criminal court. I don't think there's such a creed for a civil court.
That's true.
Civil,
Probably,
no, yeah,
probably.
you're right. So yeah, I would see if she shot a black guy because she didn't want to serve him, and the attorney goes, well, you have to have a defense.
Right.
But if she just says, I haven't shot him yet, I just don't want to serve him, and goes,
Right.
oh well, that's civil. I'll still take the case.
The question that came up in my mind yesterday was her pleading guilty to basically conspiracy to overthrow the government. Basically that, and then that's not
Oh
the
yeah,
exact charge, but that's a kind of a serious charge. But my immediate thought was, well, she's an attorney. What about all her past cases? If she was willing to kind of conspire to overthrow the government, doesn't that call into question every other case she's ever handled? Because
I don't know what kind of law she practiced, because like
yeah.
what's his face was a environmental
Oh yeah, right,
attorney.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know. She could have been Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we have to get to our guests. I'm going to run a commercial because we are way behind on commercials. Scotty Hollywood is going to be our first guest, the Scotty Hollywood Band, and is a young man who is pursuing his creative pursuits in life. And you can too. Creative Live can offer you a leg up on any of your creative pursuits. It's got over 2,000 courses in creativity, from photography to painting to songwriting and everything in between. Over 2,000 courses, and they are offering a 70% discount for you, listeners of Coffee with the Dog. Check them out, creativelive.com.
It's time to unleash your creative excellence. Dreams won't work if you don't. They never happen overnight, and they rarely follow a straight line. Excellence is a result of the hustle, consistently pushing to do better. And success looks different for everyone. CreativeLive.com charts paths and tailors content for students, but they also encourage independent thinking and exploration. Go outside of your comfort zone. Who knows, you might actually like it. Right now, you can get up to 70% off through this exclusive offer for Coffee with the Dog. CreativeLive.com has site-wide sale for Coffee with the Dog listeners. Save up to 70% off. Go to minddogtv.com and click on the link on the homepage now.
Oh, yeah. It's time to meet our first guest today. It always takes too long. I got to tighten up that black at the end of that. No offense. The black.
None taken.
Black at the end of that piece there. Just
don't get rid of all the blacks on the show.
No. Erica Switzer has a program now with 4 black lady comedians who have been on this program, and they're talking about divorce. One of them is Marina Franklin. If we talking about blacks on the show, and I've had all of them on the show, but they're talking about divorce. And Marina Franklin's got a special out called "Single Black Female," which is I think I didn't know she'd been divorced. I don't know if single. It made me question the fact that if you get divorced, are you single again, or you're divorcee, or do you call yourself single? I don't. That was.
And if that's the case, is she reclaiming her virginity also?
Oh yes, you can. That's good. I like that. Let's move on. Scotty of the Scotty Hollywood Band, which I suspect is Scotty, has been writing and recording music throughout most of his life. The multi-instrumentalist has released numerous CDs. CDs. Do you know what a CD is? Certificate of deposit?
Right. Right. Exactly. That's a banking term.
I
So
hope
now we get
he also has like MP3s and streaming music or something, because I don't know what CDs are anyway.
find out if he has a 78.
He probably does, which have been distributed internationally and received airplay on independent college radio throughout the northeastern United States, where I am, and you are kind of. And select clips of Scotty's music can be heard in a film, including releases in film, including releases. I'm terrible this morning, from directors Joel Schumacher and Paul Lieberstein. I don't know Paul Lieberstein, but I know Joel Schumacher. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome in Scotty Hollywood. Scotty of Scotty Hollywood.
Guys, how are you? Appreciate you having me on the program.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, are you the Scotty Hollywood band, or is there an actual band?
There's an actual band. It's the Scotty Hollywood Band. So I would be Scotty of the Scotty Hollywood Band.
Okay, but you play drums and guitar. I was assuming you probably played bass on it as well, right?
I did. On the record, I did most of the instruments other than guitar. So I played bass and keyboards and sung and played drums. But I get the real guys in to play guitar. I'm just like a rhythm player.
Gotcha. And a singer.
And a singer, right?
And a singer. Now, where are you located? Where you from?
I am currently in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that where you're from?
I've lived here 7 years. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
A lot of the people on MTS Records are somehow have Pittsburgh roots. And I've been talking about this for probably like 5 years, as long as I've known Michael Stover. Something's going on in Pittsburgh, because it's a pretty, as far as metropolises go, it's a pretty small city. For so much talent that's there. What do you attribute to that, the music scene that comes out of Pittsburgh too?
Good question. I just know that, I spent years in my younger days playing clubs all through Pittsburgh and the Northeast and so forth. And just a great, it's a town that's rooted in blues and rooted in a lot of jazz. So there's some great cats there that play some great music. So a lot of great instrumentalists that you can add to your repertoire. So
right. The thing that really kind of, I'm sure a lot of songwriters and music makers who are listening to this are impressed by is the idea of getting your films licensed in your music licensed in films. I am terrible this morning. I woke up late. I had a power outage, all sorts of problems today. I'm just making excuses for why I can't talk. But so people are probably wondering because I get pitched by it all the time. Every day I get emails, get your songs licensed. And I know it's bullshit if you're going to pay these people to do it. What's the secret sauce? Or maybe you don't want to let people in on the secret sauce because it's very competitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, my secret sauce is relationships. I have a good friend from high school that I played in bands with all through high school. And then we periodically still write songs together. And he's actually in the film business. He does sound effects for the film business. So he's been very generous in when there's an opportunity in a film, he'll make sure that he's presenting some of my music to a director. So these parts that I have in films it's almost like being an extra in a film. Your song is an extra in a film. It's kind of background music and so forth, but you do get, some nice royalties from it. And it's some great name recognition for Joel Schumacher, who passed away a couple years ago. Wonderful director. Paul Lieberstein was actually the director and in The Office, the TV series. So he's used some of my music for various projects.
Now, that approach has broken some songs pretty big, though, over the years, like whether in television or film. Songs that weren't being played on the radio got played on the radio and became hits because people heard them in film. So it beyond just a paycheck, it does get your music out there and heard by a lot more people.
Absolutely. It's kind of a backdoor into the industry. If you're familiar with Chris Isaak, I think he broke through David Lynch as a director who used his song, I think it was Wicked Game or some of those other tunes in film. So yeah, it's a great way great entry point as opposed to living in a van and touring around the world. So
it's really hard. I mean, it's become insane. It was insane when I was a young man doing it, but at least you had a chance to get some kind of. Listen, the Black Keys did it, right? They were two guys who just got in a van and just drove 1,500 miles to do a freebie gig and that kind of stuff, and were selling their stuff. But that's torture, and you have to be either really young or have no ties to any kind of
Nobody who
family.
loves you.
Yeah,
No one who loves you.
No one who loves you.
Now I want to. Did you have a question? It sounded like.
Oh, of course. Well, you can't keep me shut up all day long. I'm going to have a question every 37 seconds by contract. Scotty, of your songs that you have out there, because you watch television a little bit, I assume. What song do you have in your repertoire that you wrote that you think would be like really great for product endorsement, and what product? Let's sell it. Let's sell it, baby.
Yeah, okay. My brand new record is called Wonder Boo. It's the Scotty Hollywood Band, and there's a song on that collection called Phenomenon, The Phenomenon. It would very much fit into like any athlete or any, badass that, is at the top of their game, is elite, is kind of the GOAT of their industry. So I would say The Phenomenon. Check that one out.
Wow.
Okay. Now, but what product? You're just saying like for an athlete. So could you do it for like, let's say, a comedian who's at the top of his game but is declining rapidly?
Hey, but I'm a songwriter. I'll do it for anybody. So for shoes, for athletic apparel, for a comedian, anything that it takes. Yeah.
Right, okay. So you're a songwriter. You're a songwriter and a prostitute.
Let me tell you something. Every songwriter is a songwriter and a prostitute. That's the only way. I mean,
I was a bad prostitute. I was a terrible prostitute because I was a good songwriter, but I never. Maybe I was just a whore. Maybe that's it. Because there's a difference.
Usually we would run comedians that are funnier than Segura at that point, but at this point, I think it's comedians who aren't funnier than Segura. I'm sorry. Well, we'll play the Segura a bit later. The song that got my attention first, "Suck Out the Poison." What is that? Well, first of all, you got some hot chick on the couch there, and that's really that's an eye catcher. What was the intent and meaning behind the song? Because I haven't had a chance to get into a deep lyrical dive and dissect what the hell you're trying to say. Because I know what I think of when I think of "Suck Out the Poison."
Yeah, "Suck Out the Poison." I think it's open to interpretation. So I would say that you can be a little esoteric in some of these songs, but the video, it doesn't help to have a hot chick on a couch in the desert.
Yeah. You like doing music videos, apparently, and produced videos. Not because generally, it's easy to if you got a gig just to put up some cameras, tape it, and then sync it to the studio music and all that stuff. But you're doing produced music videos. Time, energy, all that kind of stuff. Was it for you?
I work with a guy named Elgin Cahill. He's a great director here in Denver, and he's been directing and producing a lot of my videos. He runs with it. I mean, I give him the concept. He listens to the song. I give him a direction as to what the song was about, and he kind of takes it into his own realm. So it's been a good working relationship for the last, 5 years here in Denver.
Enjoyable process? Do you enjoy it, or is it like tedious?
No, I absolutely love it. The most recent video I did for our first single on Wonder Boo called The Ricochet. If you check out that video, because I played most of the instruments on the record, I played each of the band members in the video. So that was kind of exhausting. I would dress as the drummer and then play the drum part and then come back out as the bass player. And, so that was fun, but a little exhausting with all the work. I felt like Cher on that video. I was changing so many outfits.
Most people who have never done it just assume that it took maybe an hour or 2 hours, but I have done music videos, and I believe me, I know it's time consuming. It's a commitment of at least a day, sometimes 2 or 3 days of shooting. Yeah. It's not the fun part in my view. I mean, and this is probably a valid question to ask you, because for me, I will write a song, start to record it, and as I write it, the minute I'm done writing it, I think it's a great song. Then I bring it into the studio, I start playing it, and like you, I do a lot of all the instruments myself, usually all the instruments myself.
Yep.
And by the time I'm like on the third or fourth instrument, I'm starting to not like this song. By the time I'm done tracking it, I hate it. Then I often do the mix and mastering myself too, which is not something I would recommend, because by that time it's like, don't worry, be happy, and I just want to break the radio. That kind of thing. Do you experience that kind of love and hate with your own music?
Yeah, I do. It's a process. I record melodies. I get song ideas kind of pop in my head. So I record hundreds of melodies into my phone. And the next day I'll go to listen to them. And a lot of times they become a song, but many times you start to develop it, and what you thought was a great idea just goes nowhere. And then other things that you were kind of wishy-washy on, as you get into that studio process, they come into their own and they become something. So yeah, I think it's a kind of a magical manifestation process is how I've always looked at songwriting. It just kind of, you're creating something that didn't exist, and it kind of comes out of nowhere, and you hope for the best. But it's, for every 50 ideas you have, maybe there's one that's worthy of getting on an album.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of live performance?
I did. I was doing quite a bit back in Pittsburgh. Here, periodically, I do theater performances and do club performances. So,
now, have you ever played like? I hate to brag, but I used to be young once. Just put it out there. And so have you ever had the opportunity to play like for a musical, or actually, because I actually helped co-wrote a musical, so I actually got to play in the orchestra for a musical that I helped to co-wrote.
Yeah.
Co-wrote. Co-wrote. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, co-wrote, not co-wrote. Okay. So have you had the opportunity to do that?
I've tried to tackle it on my own. I actually have written pieces of a musical called Colorado. I took a lot of the areas in Colorado and started writing musical songs to it. I haven't really further developed the idea, but I do have about 5 tunes that I've written, so I haven't really taken it any further than that. So,
can you sing the part about Estes Park, Colorado, for me? Because I love Estes Park.
Hey, let's go to Estes. I don't know.
That's beautiful. That does it justice, because I love Estes Park, Colorado.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Durango, because it feels like the Old West to me. But I'm not a gay person, although I think there's fine. It's like I'm doing the Steinfeld thing. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Although GD has tried to convince me to become that several
times. Only for hours.
Right.
Just role play.
Right. Yeah. But you're a very handsome young man, and you kind of look the part of Hollywood actor type of stuff. I'm looking at Human to Human this morning, and you're in that video. You look like you could be any one of those Hollywood good-looking guys that they just, whether they can act or not, put in film. Have you pursued acting at all? Is the question I'm leading to with that ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right up the alley. Absolutely. So I've done acting on the side. I've been with an agency here in Denver.
Is that porn?
And no, commercials, independent films, that type of stuff. But
so why'd you have to do it on your side?
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't you stand up? I mean,
now I know why it's called Coffee with the Dog. I got
yeah. By the way, Mind Dog Coffee, go to minddogtv.com/shop and order your Mind Dog Coffee today.
Okay, is Hollywood your given Christian name? Is that the name you were born with, or is that the name that you stole from somebody else whose last name is also, let's say, a city or a town or something?
Yeah, no, my last name is Argero, so it's a Greek Italian name.
Which translates to Hollywood.
Yeah, it became a nickname. Some of my buddies were calling me Scotty Hollywood just as a kind of fun thing. And so we went with the Scotty Hollywood Band, not
Right.
Scotty Hollywood, but the Scotty Hollywood Band was a great way to get a lot of attention with this new project. So,
But branding is important, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm have no problem with the Scotty Hollywood Band. That makes a good sense. But on your YouTube channel, they all have your last name as the as the artist on there, and I'm wondering if that hurts with marketing at all. The idea that now, because people, if they look for Scotty Hollywood Band, they're gonna maybe not find the stuff that is under your last name.
Yeah, it's kind of walking two paths as I put out so much music as Scott Ardro as a songwriter, and those songs ended up in film and various projects. And then I kind of have this band situation as the Scotty Hollywood Band. So I'm kind of walking those two paths. And but I hear you. Yeah, there's a little bit of a crossover, but hopefully at some point John Cougar becomes John Mellencamp, and both of the names. So.
Yeah, that was an interesting transition. From
him and Puff Daddy.
He was angry about that. I've talked to Kenny Aronoff about that, and he got on after the Mellencamp shift. He wasn't part of John Cougar, but I remember distinctly when he announced that he was going back to his birth name, John Mellencamp, on the tonight. What is it? Tomorrow show with Tom Snyder, which followed Johnny Carson, and he was angry. He always had a chip on his shoulder, John Mellencamp. I'm glad you brought him up though, because I wanted to ask you about in the influences that are listed for you in your bio. You got people like John Mayer, who is really a unique guitar player. I think he's a little bit overrated when as a shredder or just a blues guy. He's got this mystique about him. That said, I think he's a quality. I love his acoustic work. I think what he does with songs like Neon and the slapping technique that he kind of popularized, very, very cool. That puts him in a unique category by himself. Then John Hyatt, who I love, but he's totally different than John Mayer Mayer for a lot of different reasons. Just his writing approach and what he's known for. And then have guys like Rob Thomas and Chris Isaac, who are just completely different than those guys in my mind. Is there a single genre or a style that you identify with more or predominantly?
Yeah, I write pop music. It's pop rock music. It definitely has a commercial hooky element, but I think I draw in those influences of some folk, some blues. I started as a jazz drummer, which is really my forte instrument. So I'm kind of all over the place. I mean, as a kid, I was drumming to Yes and Rush, and I was really into all of those old Genesis catalogs and things like that. As I got into my teens, I started writing songs, and I really got drawn into kind of a more commercial, bluesy pop type of vibe, if that makes sense.
Now, was that to get laid, or was that because you got tired of playing difficult drum parts?
Well, I think we all get into music for the girls initially. Yeah.
I did not. I id not. I got into music.
I think he's lying again. First of all, this is the guy who told you 2 days ago that he was done in the garden. So, and he's still in the garden. So
I'm done in that part of the garden.
There you go.
All right. You didn't say that. Anyway, I think he's lying. I think he's lying about that. I think I appreciate that you said that every guy gets into it for the girls, because I've been saying that for 60 years, and he's the only one who will deny that. So
no, okay. Here's the deal. I wanted to be a writer. Okay, I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to write poetry. And this is out of high school. I wanted to be a poet.
Yeah.
And I learned that that nobody gave a shit about a poet. And so I thought if I became a songwriter, I could take my poetry, turn them into songs, and once I became a famous musician, then introduce people into the original versions of the songs, which were poems. Yeah. That was my strategy. That's why I became a musician.
Yeah, that was
the right way to go. It did not work. So now I'm an unknown musician and an unknown poet and an unknown comedian. So I have succeeded in the unknown ladder.
He's a triple
I'm at the
threat.
top.
A
Yes,
triple
I'm a
threat,
triple
as they
threat
said.
in being unknown. I'm a triple threat in being unknown.
Hey, you're a co-host on a show, so you're doing better than all of us, man.
He's our
That's
gardener.
because that's right.
I just got my black guy out there picking cotton all day.
And Scotty's like, let me drink something here. Let me hide my face behind this cup so nobody sees this part.
We were giving you some shit before we brought you on about CDs. Do you actually put out CDs?
No, those days are over, but I have a lot of CDs, a lot of extra inventory in my attic. So yeah, this latest one's on 8-track. No, I'm
right.
kidding.
It's kind of weird because for somebody our age, we liked having a physical product. And I understand that, that's too expensive for people. If they're going to just download it and have a digital copy, that makes a lot more sense financially. But this whole idea of physical product, like being a thing of the past, does that bother you in any way? Because I like the fact that people would hold, in my day, album covers and CD covers and read the.
Yeah.
No, that's a great question that hits home with me. When you put out an album and you had a physical album, that album had a theme. It had artwork or photography that was tailored towards the songs, and the songs told a story. And that was very hard for me to relinquish, because now it's all about, you basically feel like you're putting out singles and a collection of singles. And a lot of times these singles get dumbed down into a 10-second, 15-second blurb on Instagram or whatever. So yeah, I hear you. That's a hard part to let go of. I love the artwork. I love the concept, and to build an album that really had a theme and a direction.
Right. Up until 25 years ago, the first half of my musical career, the first 25 years or 30 years of my musical career, I played in a band exclusively and never did. And singing was not my forte. And so I really wasn't a solo artist. 25 years ago, I decided I was going to put my toe in the water of doing acoustic solo gigs. And when I did, because I was playing a lot of original music and I was going to coffee houses, I started doing lyric sheets and putting a little artwork on the lyric sheets, and created this little booklet, and then had them all printed out. And whenever I would do gigs, I would or go to coffee houses, I would put them on every single table. And people loved that, especially the musicians who were going to open mic nights and where I was performing stuff. They would get like a hard on over there. Oh, what a cool thing. I mean, but it also, for me, it helped. For me, first of all, it helped distract from the fact that I was still working on how to sing my own songs. Sure. But it also gave great insight into the lyrics and gave it greater meaning. So, that's I'm just sharing that as like a cool thing. I think consumers and musicians all appreciate that. Like, wow, I know it's a little bit expensive to do, but it pays off, because I grew my fan base, and people wanted to connect with me just simply because of that. Like, and some people actually wanted me to sign it and autographs and all that stuff. So, as far as growing a fan base, is that something that you think about and put a lot of effort into, like mailing lists and keeping in touch with your fans and people who like your music and corresponding with them?
Yeah, definitely. And it used to be a little more old school. It used to be email lists and just blanketing a lot of people about shows and so forth. Now with social media and a record company, that's behind my stuff, they're doing a great job getting the word out there. We now have some of these songs that are playing in international markets. So I'm starting to get all of these fans from into Instagram, a lot of strangers that are showing up, which is exciting. And it's kind of the machine has been built, if you will. And it frees me up to, do a lot of this kind of promotion and continue to write songs.
Right. A lot of the people on MTS records have a bigger following in South Africa and Australia than the United States, and that baffles me. I understand internet radio and how it works. We have our own internet radio station, and I think your music is included now in our catalog on Mind Dog Radio. But the fact that those countries, they're English-speaking countries around the world, are tuning into that more than the United States. Do you have any insight into what that's all about? Why they seem to gravitate towards this independent singer songwriters like yourself in America over there?
No, I don't. But there was a night I played at the Club Cafe, I think it was, in Pittsburgh, and did a show there. And after the show, there were 5 girls from Australia that were visiting Pittsburgh. God knows why, but they were visiting, and they were telling me, man, your music would just go over so well down under.
Right.
And,
they were coming on to you. They were not talking about the country.
Well, I won't tell you the rest of the story, but yeah. So maybe there is something there. I don't know. I haven't gotten to play Australia yet, but.
Well, back in 2000, or actually before 2000, like somewhere around 98, I was doing Hank Porter and the Lonesome Cowboys that posted back there. I was doing a parody show of old country, traditional country music, calling myself Hank Porter. I would paint my hair white with latex house paint and go out and do these shows. And under the lights, the paint would start to melt and all that kind of stuff. But I had all this music out on digital stuff, and Napster was big in America at that time and Europe, but in Asia they had I want to call it Bada Bing, something like that, Badu, which was their Napster, and I had 5 million downloads of my music in Japan and Korea, and it was just like the craziest thing of all, like, traditional sounding country music, and I always thought, well, I should go there. And get off the plane. Hank Porter-san, that kind of thing. Have you thought about actually taking the taking a trip over there and playing there?
I have. So I think with MTS, we've gotten some airplay in Italy, Hungary, Portugal, charted on the UK iTunes charts or what have you. So I think we're trying to see, if there's a particular market that digs it. And if so, hell yeah, man, I'll go over there, and even if it's
Michael should put together the old time tours of get all the artists that are having popular success over in other places and put them on one bill, like one long concert of the artists that are resonating with those. Just
and Matt, your audio's dropped out a little bit, at least in my ear.
Is my audio dropped out?
Yeah, it dropped out.
That's better.
Yep.
Oh, maybe I don't know what happened. Well, we'll have to find a producer. That's what
we'll have to do. I like it. I like how you think.
Yeah.
I have a question for Scotty. Scotty,
yes,
now, just to set this up, when I was a wee lad, I written a song that I was very, very proud of. And my mom walked into my room. I was doing multiple tracks. I was doing all the parts, and my mother walks in and goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just wrote a song," and I played it for her. And I said, "What do you think?" She goes, "I said, you like it?" She goes, "Of course I like it. I'm your mother." And that's the last time I ever played a song for my mother.
Yeah.
Now, is there someone in your life that you just will not play your music for? It's like, no, you are not worthy. You can't hear it.
That I'm not that's not worthy. I don't think so. I bounce this stuff off my friends and off my wife quite a bit, and
yeah, but she's married to you. She's obligated to.
I know she is.
I can tell you, as my wife doesn't listen to my music, doesn't like my music, doesn't like me. No.
Yeah.
Well, not liking your music, but she has listened to it and she doesn't like it. She has to listen.
Well, no. When we first got together, she listened to it. There's a song I wrote called "I Don't Want to See You Anymore," and I think that turned her off to ever. Was because she said she started crying because basically it's about a relationship that went bad, and I don't want to see you. Don't come around here because it was about a girlfriend who I had broken up with, but still wanted to come to my gigs.
Yep.
And it was just like, get out of here. We're done. Don't come to my gig. Get out of my life. And my wife heard that, and I think that broke her heart. And so she hasn't really listened to my music in the 15 years since.
Right, right. No, but I don't think there's anybody that I wouldn't play my stuff for. But hey, it's artistry, so you got to make sure that you are willing to hear feedback. If people dig it or not. So.
I can take feedback. I can even take negative comments because I don't really give it.
Yeah.
But back then I cared because it was my mother, and it was just the fact that she goes. Of course I like it. I'm your mother, which also goes back to like everything that she's ever said to me that she liked. It's like, well, what else of mine did she really not like, but just said she liked it because she was my mother?
Yeah.
Well, no,
right.
she didn't say. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked here. But she didn't say she just she liked it simply because she was your mother. She said, "Of course I like it. I'm your mother." Doesn't mean that she wouldn't like it if she wasn't your mother. She's not saying that that's the only reason she liked it.
No, but believe me, I'm not going to go into that because this is his hour. This is Scotty's moment.
That's true. And we're not.
Go ahead, Scotty. What do you think of my mother?
I think she's a great woman. I can tell you that, early on in a studio one time, I went over budget in a studio. I was recording 3 songs in Pittsburgh when I was like on break from college or whatever. It was supposed to be $200 and it came in at like $600. So I took my mom into the studio to say, hey, I kind of effed up here and I have this bill for $600 and these are the songs. Played her the 3 songs. She said she loved them, and she paid the $600 to get me out of my situation. So I've never forgotten that. I owe her $600.
Wow. Couple more questions before I let you go. Now, first, before we even get there, Scotty Hollywood Band, the ScottyHollywoodBand.com. Link is in the description. It's scrolling across the bottom right now. You can see it there, but it's in the description for people who want to go check out your music. When you get to my age, and hopefully you will get to my age, it's not necessarily guaranteed, but we hope you will. I have lots of friends who I've written songs with over the years, musician friends, and they ask me why I'm still doing it. And I say, well, it was never about fame and fortune, which is a lie. When I was 20, it was about fame and fortune, but I gave that idea up somewhere around 25, 26, when it's just like you're never going to be like on that level of the people that you dreamed about when you were a kid. I got that to my head. Anyway, the reason I did it, I do it still, is for myself first, and then if people like it, of course I want people to listen to it and like it. The awkward question I'm getting: do you feel satisfied with where you're at, and do you feel like you're living the life that you envisioned when you first got into writing and performing music?
Yeah, I would say I am. I just love the process. I love music. So, started, like I said, as a drummer. I do everything by ear. I don't read music. So everything I've picked up is by ear. It's just a process that I can get in my studio at 7:00 at night, and all of a sudden it's 2 a.m, and I feel like 45 minutes went by.
Right.
So when you are that focused on something and you're loving it that much, I mean, I did it for years for free and then started being paid and so forth. And it's a passion that I just don't let go of. I'm constantly, now that this new record is done, I'm already starting to, take hikes here in Denver, and I'm thinking of new songs and I'm humming them into my phone, and they ultimately will become the next album that I'll probably put out in 2024. So, I'd love to take it to the next level, higher and higher of a level. But I've become what they call weatherman famous. It's when you go to the store and somebody taps you and says, "Don't you do the local weather?"
Right. But I get not that. I get, it's morning mustache man.
Yeah. There you go.
Morning mustache man.
Right.
Do you see yourself doing it when you get as old as that guy?
Hell yeah, man! Look at Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and.
Hey! I am not fucking that old. What is wrong? your interview is over. Over. Fucking over.
I wasn't.
Okay.
Just for
I
the
was
record,
born in.
I'm
I just
older
talk
than
about
you.
Look,
the films.
I just
I
want.
was born in 1959. Okay, you can do the math. If you can't, I'm 43.
Well, again, we appreciate you being here. We hope people will follow you and support your music. They can go to the ScottyHollywoodBand.com. Thanks for getting up early and
Thank you.
and feel free to come back anytime, man. We especially if you put out a new album in 2024, come back then and we'll help you promote it.
I would love
And
it.
if you need an old black guy to do a music video in Colorado, you can call me. I'll go to. I love Colorado.
Do they grow
I'm
cotton
going to call you, absolutely. Up in Estes Park, we'll film it. So thank you guys for having me on the program. I appreciate it. You guys are great at what you do. So appreciate you having me.
Have a good day. Bye for now.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Scotty Aguero from the Scotty Hollywood Band. They don't even have cotton in Colorado. They don't do.
Well, they do, but it's already worn. It's already made into clothing.
Oh.
I want to, if I could just take this moment to address something that Ian had made. That he says Gigi's wife makes him sleep in the garden, and that's not true. Okay, my quarters are over here. Are you coming with me, Ian?
We
Ian,
are going with
Ian,
you.
come on. Okay. All right. Here you go. See? Can you see this? This is my quarters. This is where I sleep. Over there, and over there. Okay.
You're a little too fast.
Right there.
Slow down a little bit there. Now,
Yeah.
do you have animals?
Well, technically, I have one cat in the house.
Cat.
Now,
I was talking about like larger animals, like pigs.
No. Unlike I guess like you, I have deer that come through, and foxes and raccoons, and I don't put any food in my trash so that they don't rummage through my trash. I take all my food, all my scraps, and I take them out back here. And so they don't go rummaging through, they don't have to come up to the house looking for scraps. They can I bring it out to them. They get room service.
Yeah. Mike Chavola says you have a he shed.
It
I don't know what that means.
means I lose my hair.
Oh.
Balding.
Shedding. You're shedding.
Yeah, he's shedding. Yeah, that's male pattern baldness. Male pattern baldness. He's shedding.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Because there's no pattern. It's just
right.
like that.
It's all one. Yeah, I don't know if I told you this, but I used to have pigs, but I don't have pigs anymore. But I had.
Well,
pigs.
you graduated from high school and stopped dating.
That's true. No, they were actual pigs, but I started with pet pigs. Like I had a girlfriend who was into pigs. She thought they were cute. Arnold Ziffel from what was that?
Green Acres.
Yeah. So I bought her one for Christmas, and I had it in the pocket of my coat and I went into CVS to buy a bottle. That's how small it was. It fit in the pocket of my coat, and it was squealing. But that pig ended up being 650 pounds.
I was about to ask you because a lot of times they call these things pot-belly pigs, thinking that they're going to be
mini
like
pigs. There's no such thing. They stay mini if you starve them, but if you let them eat like pigs eat, and if you let them out in the yard and they turn over the ground for grub worms and stuff like that, they get big fast, and none of them stay mini.
Yeah,
So,
there's a reason why when people go all out, they call it going whole hog. And pigging out. There's a reason for it. People don't say rhino, and rhinos are huge. They don't say elephanting. They don't say giraffing. They say hogging and pigging.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason.
They eat constantly. They are an eating machine. They were born or created for one purpose and one purpose alone, and that's an eating machine. But they do tell you.
I thought it was to annoy Muslims and Jews.
Oh, that too. I get that's a convenient byproduct. Now we are off the air forever. Thank you, folks. It's been great. We are going.
But now they can both hate us, and we can bring peace in the Middle East.
That's true. In our next hour, we're going to talk Groucho Marx. Anybody a fan of Groucho Marx out there? I I don't know. It's probably just me and you, people old like us, because I don't think the young people even are familiar with Groucho. Now, I will say this: I have a bunch of public domain. Not a bunch. I have like 4 or 5 public domain Marx Brothers movies. I don't have Animal Crackers, which we're going to want to talk to Steve about.
Okay.
But I can air those, and I don't think there's a big audience for it. I just don't think, but I think I might do that as like, at nighttime, just running monkey business or coconuts or horse feathers at some night on my Twitch channel, just to see if there is any interest in that. I don't think the young people even know Marx Brothers stuff.
And it's a shame because, well, first of all, they got away with a lot of stuff for back then that they shouldn't have gotten away with. You know what I'm saying? They taught you how to be dirty without being dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
and yes. Oh gosh, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so Steve. I'm sure Steve has a bunch of stories. I know a few of them from the book that he has that people would be surprised about. I hope we get people interested in the Marx Brothers, because to me, that was my upbringing. That was my introduction to comedy, and I hate to see it forgotten just because it's in black and white and people don't have the attention span, or for whatever reason, young people don't gravitate towards stuff if it's not CGI, for bright colors, flashing lights, and all that kind of stuff. I'm struggling here to think of a comedian who's funnier than Segura. Let's play it, and I'll have one.
Comedians who are funnier than Segura.
You're a bum. Get out of town. Today, in honor of having my willy cut off, the comedian who is funnier than Tom Segura is Willie Conway. Our own Willie Conway. Yeah, missed it by that much. Anyway, yeah, comedians who are funnier than Segura. There's a lot of Segura hate going on right now on the internet. I don't know if you see all this if on YouTube, but there's a cottage industry right now on YouTube of beating back on Tom Segura. It's kind of ingratiating for me to see. I would love to take credit for it, but I know it has nothing to do with me. But just to see all the people beating back on Tom Segura, it's a fun thing. Anyway, it's time. We have to play another commercial before Steve Stolier joins us in a few minutes. We have some time before he joins us, but I want to get the commercial out of the way. Naked Wines is a new way to buy wine, and it's cutting out the middleman. And it's a subscription-based thing, but you will save money, and the winos make money, actually make money and stay profitable. So you're helping the industry. You're getting better wine at a cheaper price. It's a great new way to buy wine. Naked Wines, check it out.
Welcome to a better way to buy wine. NakedWines.com is a customer-funded wine business. We don't just sell wines, we make them happen. Since launching in the UK in 2008, Angels have helped us invest in over 159 independent winemakers in 14 different countries. Turns out, it's better business for everyone. Our winemakers get to sell all of their wines and make a living. We make the same margins as everyone else and have a lot of fun along the way. And as a wine drinker, for the $40 a month you probably would have spent on wine anyway, you'll get wholesale prices. You can be sure that all of our wines have been lovingly made by a talented winemaker and stripped of all the costs that add nothing to the flavor or quality of the juice in the bottle. Support independent winemakers. Get better wine in return. With the support of 300,000 wine drinkers, we fund talented, independent winemakers up front. This way, they get to spend all of their attention on making you the best wine possible. World-class wine, direct from talented independent winemakers. A better deal, up to 60% off market prices. A better way to discover tasty new favorites with over 2 million reviews from wine drinkers like you. Become an angel today. Get started by visiting minddogtv.com and click the banner on the homepage now.
Yeah, naked wines. Let's all get naked and drink some wine. She is definitely enticing me to drink some wine, even though it's coffee time. She made me want to take a sip of the
Now,
juice in the bottle.
he there's a point in there where he says it does not take away from the juice in the bottle or something like that.
Yeah, juice in the
It's
bottle.
like, who did the wording? Did he write the words? You wrote the words? They send you the words?
They sent me the words.
They send you the words?
Yeah.
Now, do they have, like, you may not know this. No, the people that actually taste the wine, what are they called? Somalians?
Yeah, Sommeliers, yeah.
Yeah, Somalians that taste the wine.
No, those are pirates. Those are African pirates, Somalians.
Okay. Well, the people that taste the wine, he doesn't mention how qualified they are,
That's true.
And those are the ones who make that's who makes tell you how good the wine is. They're the ones that go like, I have a hint of rosemary with a twist of lime.
I hate those people. I'd rather test it by a wino in the gutter and say, what do you think it is?
Does it make me pee and my ass burn? I like it.
Yeah, I think it was Merle Haggard that had the song, I'm going to hire a wino to decorate our house. Country songs back in the day, man, the titles were ridiculous. But yeah, not that they're any better now, I guess. I was just looking through Facebook memories, and 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago today, actually, on my show, and I don't have any rememberings of this at all, which is Zen Cryer DeBrook's Smart Soul Academy, Soul Guidance for Smart People. I don't remember this person at all. Zen Cryer DeBrook has codified the human internal guidance system and architected a flawless method for preventing, detecting, and correcting the thoughts that create stress and short circuit your bliss. You would think I would remember that conversation, and something about it. It's like I spent the hour talking to that person. I'm sure I blew smoke up their ass and told them how wonderful they were, and I have no idea.
Were you now? How long ago was this?
4 years ago today.
4 years ago. Okay, I was just wondering about what brand of weed you were, because you occasionally smoke.
I have tried the marijuana. I don't know if I told you. I have tried.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but 4 years ago it may have been a different brand, and it may have been part of the thing.
I'm sure it was. Now I'm getting the highest quality. I could Canacure, 30% THC, 9% CBD, badass sativa, and it's not a sleepy weed at all. Not that they're a sponsor. I'm very satisfied with the product, and I think people should know about it. The problem I have with it, I've never been a grinder kind of guy. I'm always like one of these guys who breaks up a bud with his little old man fingers. But it's a hard thing to do. I gotta get a grinder for this.
This may be exposing a secret, and if you don't want to expose a secret, that's fine.
No,
but if you're with your wife, and you run into someone you do not remember their name, they know you, and they go, Matt, and you look at them. How do you introduce them to your wife?
I don't. I let them introduce themselves. Interesting enough, Mikey, in the singer I've been working with for 25 years, who I've been friends with for 50 years or more. We were at a gig, and this girl, Eileen Donahue, came up to me, and she was talking to me. She knew me. I didn't recognize her at all. She's having a conversation with me, and Mikey comes over, and he's standing right next to me. He goes, "What's her name?" like right in front of her. I said, you motherfucker. Like the way the handle, I said, hey, Eileen, it's good to see you. And then I hear him say that, and I know, but no, he had to embarrass me and say, oh, you've been talking to her for like 15 minutes. Let me come over and say, hey, what's her name? You dick. And I had to at that point confess. I don't know.
Did he know you didn't remember her name, or did you
Yeah, no, he knew it. He knew
uh,
exactly what he was doing. He was fucking setting me up to look like a fool.
It's
So,
fun. I was with my stepkids. I was in a laundry room because we had a blanket that was too big for our washing machine. So whenever we had to wash those blankets, we had to go to like a laundromat to use like the super duper machines. And I was in there, and there was this girl, young lady that I knew from high school, who in high school was so attractive that before she even transferred in, every guy was talking about the new girl who was coming to our school.
wow.
And she wouldn't talk to me at all because I was unattractive in high school. I was unattractive. I can't think of a word worse than unattractive.
Ugly is
I was
unattractive.
beyond ugly. I think because like you say ugly duckling and you think it has potential. You say unattractive, you don't think potential. So and so when I ran into her in the laundromat, she goes, I'd grown into my looks, and she was talking to me, and 3 times she complimented me on my look, and I could tell she was waiting for a compliment back. The problem is she had let herself go so badly that I could not compliment her back. And
Yeah.
my kids chided me on that. They said she was waiting for a compliment, and I said I can't lie. I said, guys, you know me, you know I can't lie.
Women don't age as well as men. This is definitely a fact. And if you hate me for saying that, I'm sorry. But recently, last summer, this past summer, we were at a gig on the beach, and a girl came up to me and asked me if I remembered her. And I said, sorry, no. And I didn't realize until after, and I didn't hear her say her name because I'm fucking deaf. But she was telling me how much she loved the music and all that stuff. And when she left, I asked somebody, I said, who was that? She said, oh, I don't want to say her name. That's so and so. And I said, oh, she lived on my block, and
Right.
she was 5 years older than me, but she was a glamour beauty queen for us when we were kids. She's the one we we looked at her and said, man, that is what I want when I grow up. I want one of those.
Uh,
But she just looked like a sad, terrible, ugly old lady. But and it was heartbreaking because she was such a smoking hottie when she was young. It's like, damn, you know what? Men aren't that good looking to begin with, so you don't see that. I guess that's why, as you get older, men don't deteriorate as much because they don't have that much to start with. I think.
I have a question. If Are you going to do critical joke theory today? If you're not, I was going to, because I was going to bring something up, and if you're not going to mention it, then hold up. If you're going
No.
to play it, I won't mention it because it's in the thing. But if you're not going to use it, then I can mention it because I don't want to be redundant. You
What?
get what I'm saying?
Well, no, I don't know what you say. I'm not going to use anything. What am I going to use?
Oh,
No.
the critical joke theory. I didn't know if you was going to play or
Oh,
not.
I didn't even know you sent me one.
How can they? I shared it
I didn't
through.
get. I'm looking at my mail right now, looking for Steve Solier's address, so I can say we're waiting on you, and I don't see any.
DJ, that is so weird. This is like the second I keep sharing it. I'm sharing it to the same address that I used to share it to.
Yeah, for some reason it's not coming through. Anyway, I was hoping that you could do that live if you could, whenever you want to do that. I know you can't do it today because you're in the garden and don't have the stuff in front of you to read, but I think it would be better to do that piece live. Oh, here it is in my spam. I don't know, and
Ah,
that's weird. Why is it going to spam?
yeah,
I can't.
because last time you said you didn't send it, I'm like, yeah, I did,
Yeah,
and then I checked it. It's like, okay, so I'm
it's
going to.
going to spam. I got to mark it as not spam, so it'll come through. I don't think I can just download it and kind of finagle it now. Unfortunately, well, and these things only have a shelf life of 1 day. In your view, like it won't be funny Monday.
Well, because I'm capturing the week, like a week of news, and then
I think it'll still be
so
funny Monday. No.
Well, you can play it on Monday. I don't object to it because I mean I put it on like YouTube and stuff like that. But I don't put it on YouTube until after. It's like this. I give you first right of refusal, so to speak.
Ah, ah.
And so, like, I've got it scheduled to premiere quote on YouTube at noon.
I can't
And so
find Steve.
I give you first right of refusal. That way, if you want to use it, you're not being preempted. Like I already saw that on YouTube or something.
Now, I talked to Steve earlier in the week and reminded him about Friday. He's not here now. I'm assuming this is a time zone issue. I told him we were Eastern, but I think he might be in LA or something. Fuck, and I can't find his email address. I hate this if he's not going to show up today because of time zone issues or whatever. Major disappointment because I had a lot of. I was really excited to talk about this whole. Jackie had given me a bunch of insights that he wanted to know about all this stuff. I'm going to continue looking for him, but I'm feeling like this might be a no-show.
That's a shame because this would be like for me the closest contact I would ever. He was like I said. When I was let's see here. I'm gonna pull a Willie and just start talking.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was like about 5 or 6 years old, my brother and I, my brother who was like 3 years older than I am, we got in trouble and we were punished, and we shared a bedroom, and we were stuck in our room together for a week. Well, after about 2 hours, my brother was really tired of sharing a week, spending, being punished with me, and so he was bored, and he says, "Make me laugh, I'm gonna punch you in the face." So yeah, no pressure. And I was 6 years old. I didn't know jokes, but I did know Groucho Marx, and my brother did not. So I started doing Groucho Marx material for my brother. But we were punished in the room for a week. So after like 2 days of Groucho Marx, my brother's like going, "It's not funny anymore. Make me laugh or I'll punch you in the face." So then I started doing other impressions, but it was like I would do like Groucho Marx as a drag queen at a in a bar trying to pick up another Marx brother. Stuff
Wow.
like that. I would just mix things up uh, to just so I wouldn't get punched in the face, and I
What?
never got punched in the face.
Wow. It looks like you have several times.
That's because I could make my brother laugh. Those other people I couldn't make laugh. So my mother was punching me, my sister, my father.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear about that. But what was your favorite Marx Brothers movie?
Oh wow, I really liked uh, Animal Crackers. Hooray for Captain Spaulding, the African explorer. That,
Right. Now, this is what I
and
wanted to ask Steve about because he claims, and I don't doubt his claim, that Animal Crackers was lost or needed to be re-released in the 80s. He was working with Groucho to lobby the studio to re-release Animal Crackers. I am certain that me and my friend went in the 70s. There was a theater near where we lived that played Marx Brothers every Friday night, and the 13 movies, they would just rotate them and start over again. And we saw them all, including Animal Crackers. Definitely, Hooray for Captain Spaulding was part of our growing up. So
yeah,
I don't know what he means by re-release because it was definitely still playing at that time in theaters, in the theaters that played Marx Brothers stuff. Uh,
here's a little known African American Black history fact for people. Uh, the when Captain Spaulding is brought in to the room, he's on the shoulders of like six Africans. The African that speaks is John Amos from
wow,
Good Times. From Good Times.
wow. Wait a minute. He'd have to be pretty fucking old by the time he did Good Times then, because like that. What
Black
was
don't
that?
crack.
Huh?
Black don't crack, and he could have been like 19. We don't know how but yeah, that's John Amos.
Even 19 would put, because that was 1933. So let's just say he was 20 in 1933. By 1973, he would have been. Wait, what did I just say? So he'd be 60 then in 1973, right? Yeah, maybe. maybe. But wasn't he in Coming to America, and that was like the 90s, and
He was.
he still looked as young as he did on Good Times, right?
Well, let's put it this way. You know that disclaimer you put in the very beginning of the thing about independent fact checking?
Yeah.
You guys can do it. The independent fact checking. Because this was this was based on my own observation. I was like, that's John Amos. I know that voice. I know that face, that nose.
Ah,
That's John Amos.
you know what? I can look him up really quick while I'm doing this. I'm gonna try and download Critical Joke Theory while we're doing this because apparently we're gonna have time anyway. So let me see, John Amos. If I look now, might not have him that in his IMDb, right? Probably
I
not.
don't know because I don't know anything about if they were SAG members back then or. Well, actually, IMDb has nothing to do with that, right? You can do your own IMDb once you.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. He would have been. He's 83 now.
I know he's dead.
Oh, is he dead?
Isn't he dead? I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Born December 23rd, 1939, age 33. It doesn't say dead in here. It doesn't say died. He's still alive, 83.
Oh, okay. But he died in Good Times. You mean they killed him off? I thought he, like, damn.
Yeah, at that age, I don't think he definitely wouldn't have been in 1933 when that movie was made. Yeah, he was born in 39. So he
that definitely was John Amos then. It was definitely John Amos.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying that.
You're confusing the fuck out of
me. No, I'm just then that guy. That's John Amos's father.
Maybe it's his father. That's possible.
Yeah. If you get a chance to look at Animal Crackers, tell me who you think that is, because I was basing it on the voice. It's like, unless I'm getting my black people mixed up, maybe I thought it was someone else.
Hey, don't they all look alike to you? Now, Willie, I might, because yesterday Willie did, or 2 days ago, Willie caught me with the all look alike Italians. That guy that he said looked like me. That was a bit of racism from Willie, or ethnicism. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll look alike because the guy had an Italian jawline, I guess. He thought he looked exactly like me. He did look a little like my father, I have to say.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. It's more like a cousin thing, not like exactly like you. But
yeah, he said, "Oh, it's incredible how much that guy looks like you." And I was like, "Have you had your eyes checked lately?" But then it occurred to me that it was just like bigotry. He was thinking all Italians look alike. You can't tell the difference between me and Marlon Brando. Which is
Marlon Brando. You. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I do have there is that. Let me see if I can play Critical Joke Theory. It doesn't look like Steve's going to respond. I'm sure this is a time zone thing because I was talking to him. I was playing the Robert Klein bit because Robert Klein did a lot of talking about the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers in my interview with him. And I played him that bit about where he's talking about Groucho being an autodidact and being really proud of the fact that he wrote his own books. And Harpo Speaks, he said, Harpo didn't write that.
Right.
So Steve appreciated that I sent him that. And I said, well, we look forward to hearing your take on stuff on Friday. And he was looking forward to it too. So I'm sure that this is just a time zone fuck up, but you would think somebody who was born in and grew up in St. Louis and then moved to the West Coast would understand time zones, right? I would think. Anyway.
Now I want to know who that black guy is, because I thought I really had it's like one of those things you grow up thinking and believing, and then somebody tells you, nope, you're wrong. It's like, then who was that? Who was that in the bedroom with mom then, if that wasn't that?
Right.
It's one of the
I'm betting, you know what? I'm not betting. I don't have any money to bet. I'm guessing that it was his father. His father was in films before him. That's going to be my go-to, and that's what I'm sticking with. Let's see here. If we can. Oh, this other computer is just not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea at all.
You should swap it in for Mind Dog coffee.
That's right.
I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, it gives me this shit. Mind Dog coffee.
All right.
See, that's my commercial for it.
Critical joke theory. Which one is this?
Episode 26.
See, I hate this computer. That's 23. I know I just downloaded. Where the fuck is it? Oh, do I have to go see all? No. Where the fuck is it? Oh, what is
this? Well.
That's 20. I got 2023. You son of a bitch. Critical joke theory. Where are you? Now I'm getting upset. You see me getting upset?
Yeah. Now someone asked, "What does spam stand for?" Besides,
Mike Cibola asked that. It doesn't stand for anything, I think.
Well, there was shoulder, pork, and ham.
Oh,
the shoulder part, shoulder and ham, shoulder and ham. Let's see, shoulder, pork, and ham, shoulder, parts, and ham, shoulder. Because it's made out of the parts of the pig that was unpopular.
Right.
But they added it into so.
I did not know that. Date added today. Come on, I know I just downloaded a fucking thing. See, this is if you could do it live when in the future, that would be great because you've been sending me the night before or the morning of, and I just don't have, the wherewithal to kind of even look for it at that point to get ready for. This is really exciting radio, isn't it? Is it totally?
It is. This is technically I think it's called documentary. This is like how the sausage is made. So this is documentary radio.
Oh, it's coming through as a text file?
Here
you go. That's why it was coming through as a text file. I got to download it this way. Holy shit! This fucking. You're in an Apple, right? Why is Google?
No, I'm. It's an MP4 file, right? MPG file. MP4?
Yeah, but for some reason it sent Google Dropbox or whatever you use to kind of share it with me. Send it to me through the Apple as a text file, and then I need to convert it, which I just did. So I should be able to share it now. If I come back over to here, man, this is why I have problems with this, and this computer won't do it. Anyway, we'll get there. We're going to be playing Critical Joke Theory in just 1 second, folks. Just hold on; it'll probably be worth it. And if not, you can blame GD saying that shit wasn't worth the wait. Here it is. Yeah. Time for Critical Joke Theory.
Welcome to Critical Joke Theory with your host, GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. Now with new joke technology. Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. Welcome to Critical Joke Theory. Now with new joke technology. President Biden addressed the nation Thursday evening. In his speech, he empathized with the Israeli people and the Palestinian people while condemning Hamas and all hate. And not once did he say malarkey or no joke. Biden has reached out to Congress expressing the urgency of the matters in Israel and Ukraine. While the Senate is working to find a compromise, the House is still suffering from speaker interrupters. Russia detains radio journalist Alsu Kumasheva, accused of being a foreign agent. Reporters Without Borders calls for the immediate release of Alsu Kumasheva, and journalists with dual U.S. and Russian nationality employed by Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty. Her arrest on October 18th in Kazan, 720 kilometers east of Moscow, comes nearly 7 months after fellow U.S. journalist Ivan Gershkovich's arrest. I propose a, quote, spy for spy swap. They give us Kumasheva and Gershkovich, and we'll give them Donald Trump, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, and 3 Trump lawyers / co-conspirators to be named later. Former Trump attorney and co-defendant Sidney Powell, seen here looking into the abyss and seeing her reflection, which she could never do in a mirror, has accepted a plea deal in the Georgia election fraud case. As a condition of her guilty plea, 68-year-old Powell will pay a $60,000 fine, receive 6 years probation, and be required to testify at future trials, as well as write an apology letter to the citizens of Georgia. If her apologies are anything like her conspiracies, the citizens of Georgia would be better off not reading it. She also is co-conspirator number 3 in the January 6th case. Trump says that she's a 2.5 at best, and not my type.
And
Sidney Powell was asked if she understood that as part of her plea deal that she must testify truthfully in the case for the duration of the trial, and she responded, "I do." That is the scariest "I do" that Trump has ever heard, and he has been married 3 times. Suzanne Summers, the Emmy nominee and star of hit shows like Three's Company and Step by Step, died October 15th. She was 76. Summers died peacefully of breast cancer at her home in Palm Springs. Her longtime publicist, R. Corey Hay, announced. In honor of Suzanne Summers' legacy and contribution to society, I would like to say, don't come in here, Mom. I'm almost done. Ew.
Did her bodyguard die?
A spokesperson for Hamas has acknowledged that they have around 200 hostages, among which are a number of foreign nationals. Hamas says that the foreign nationals are not considered to be part of the conflict and are being treated as guests that cannot leave and that were taken against their will, like an American journalist in Russia. Former President Trump, seen here staring at his tax forms and thinking his problem is he didn't lie enough, was issued a limited gag order by Judge Chutkan. Trump opposes being gagged, acknowledging that he prefers being spanked with a Forbes magazine. A number of congresspeople and one spouse, every congressperson, has received death threats following Jim Jordan's failure to get enough votes to be Speaker. Jim Jordan will put the same amount of effort to finding out where the threats came from as he did to protect those wrestlers in Ohio. A jury on Wednesday, October 11th, convicted a Florida man of first-degree murder in the 2018 strangling and beating death of his wife after she refused to appear on a home renovation reality TV show, prosecutors said. David Trones, 55, killed his wife, Shanti Cooper Trones, on April 24, 2018, in the couple's home in the Orlando neighborhood of Delaney Park, according to a Wednesday statement from the state's attorney's office for the 9th Judicial Circuit. Trones killed his wife because she didn't want to appear on Zombie House Renovations. Well, now David Trones can be on Extreme Makeover Prison Edition or Designed to Sell. I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist, now with New Joke Technology. Thank you for watching Critical Joke Theory. Be safe out there and don't feed the crazies. The Critical Joke Theory with your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist, now with New Joke Technology.
Now, this New Joke Technology thing, did you develop that on your own, or did you hire software developers? And
Well, I went into the hospital for a colonoscopy, and while I was there, they actually installed the New Joke Technology for me.
wow. I do think that would be more impactful if it were live. I think people, I don't know that for a fact. I mean, we could put that poll out. Do you think people would appreciate that more live than a tape piece? I do like the fact that you weren't as red. You were a black man in the dark a little bit.
Well, the darkness is me. I needed one more light. Because I'm using an actual banner instead of the green screen.
Right.
And so I had put I have 4 lights in my room, and I put them on the banner to eliminate my shadow.
Right.
But I didn't have enough on my face, and you shouldn't backlight a black man. That's rule number 1 in theater.
I did not know that. Now I know.
I learned that from a friend of mine who went to Hollywood, who actually studied film and moved to Hollywood, and then actually is a SAG member.
Unless you, what's his name, Morgan Freeman, and you're trying to make him look like God, then you would backlight him because you want that like glow around him, right? Or am I wrong?
Oh, yeah, but I think that glow is pregnancy.
Oh, he
I think I think all pregnant people glow.
Oh, I thought he just takes that with him wherever he goes. That's his glove.
like an entourage.
I can't tell you how disappointed I am that we have no Steve Stoliar to hear. Wait, what?
Now,
I don't want me. Here we go. What the hell happened?
Now, Matt, if you were walking down the street and you had like a theme song, what would it be? Like, what would you want people to hear when you walk down the street? Every time you walk into a store.
You stump me. I don't know. I have to think about that. My theme song. Boy, oh boy. Lydia, oh Lydia, and I know that would be it. That would be it. I mean, no, I don't say that just because Groucho is I've been told for years since I started. I wear berets. I'm backward, by the way, but since I started with the round glasses, the mustache stuff, I've been told for years that I appear like Groucho, and that is and on the radio, a lot of my mannerisms and ways of talking were derivative of Groucho by nature, not like I was trying to put it on. Not I was doing a Groucho impression. It's just I sort of sound Jewish anyway. And they were New York Jews, so I mean, the accent, the mannerisms, all that. I got that. I got Jackie Mason too.
Now, I think I share this opinion. You ever hear somebody tell you something so often that it becomes like, I think that.
Yeah.
As far as the Marx Brothers movies go, the better ones are the ones where he's using a grease mustache, and the worst ones, or the not as good ones, are the ones where he has his own mustache.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Well, I don't know if I just like Groucho better with the grease paint mustache. I think as he got older, and especially in some of the interviews he did with like Cavett and stuff, he seemed like that's when, and even and I wanted to talk to Steve about this. You Bet Your Life, the You Bet Your Life stuff wasn't the best Groucho stuff for me, and it was really, I was in the book. It appears that a lot of that stuff was predetermined, rehearsed, written stuff, scripted, and that kind of ruined it for me. I like the fact that I thought he was really just witty and all that kind of stuff, but I think older Groucho started to lose a little bit on his fastball, without a doubt.
Now, my understanding is that like the later movies, they were doing basically to keep Chico out of financial trouble with the lawyers and the money and the gambling.
Yeah. What was the last one? The very last one?
Was it Big Store?
No. Night and Lucille Ball was in it, I think. Not Night in like Casablanca. Maybe it was the Big Store. I guess we can fact check it. We got time.
Yeah, and I don't have access to the usually when I'm inside, I have my computer and I have my phone, and I can actually Google with one while I stream with the other.
Will you ever be allowed back inside again?
On Monday, my wife will be working from. Well, here's the deal. Today, I really did have to do the yard work, but yesterday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, my wife is doing interviews, and her office is right next to my office, and we don't have soundproofing. And so sometimes I get a little rambunctious or loud, and her people that she's interviewing hear me. Or sometimes she says things that other people shouldn't hear because she's a government operative. She works for the government. And there's some things they'll discuss that people shouldn't know. Or, as a matter of fact, my wife says to me, if you hear something, do not repeat it in any of your sketches until you hear it on the news.
Right. Night in Casablanca was the last one now there was one called Love Happy, which I never even saw.
Right.
and Story of Mankind. They were all in it, but not like doing. It wasn't a Marx Brothers movie. They were all in it for a little bit, and that movie sucked. I wouldn't call that a Marx Brothers movie.
Right.
Then there was The Incredible Jewel Robbery, which was a television movie for General Electric Theater. And yeah, Groucho and Harpo and Chico were in that, but Groucho was in it in a cameo role, but was uncredited. I did not know that. But there's surprises in here, that stuff I didn't know about. So I'll Say She Is was a silent movie they did before The
forgot about
Coconuts.
that.
I didn't even know about that one. I
Right.
thought I knew
Yeah.
about this shit.
I knew about I'll Say She Is. I did not know about
Coconuts was
the
a movie, and that was. It says 1925, 1926. I had to be 1929 because it was a sound movie. The first sound movie was Eddie Cantor's Jazz Singer, and that was in 1928. So 1929 would have been Coconuts. They have it listed here as 25, 26. Don't think that.
now because I think their first four movies were actually based on their, like, almost like word for word. Well, not word for, but based on their sketches that they did of the same name.
Stage play. Yeah, stage.
Yeah, they're stage plays. Right.
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 Animal Crackers, they have listed here as 1928, 1929. It was later than that. Wikipedia is wrong on this stuff. Just flat out
Well,
wrong.
Wikipedia isn't Wikipedia done by
Oh wait, no,
James Wiki?
my
Wiki
fault.
and-
My fault here. I'm reading Broadway stage, so they were doing these stuff on stage before they became films.
Right.
Now, Humor Risk was a film starring the four Marx Brothers. Their first film in 1921, and never released a film. Then The Coconuts, 1929. I was right about that. Was their first official film release and that was a sound movie, 1929. Animal Crackers was actually 1930, so no way it was John Amos who was born in 1939.
I'm still sticking with my personal observation, and I'm trusting my gut.
And those three films were all filmed in Astoria, New York, where it's now like the comedy Greenwich Village in New York, where all the comedians live. Astoria, New York. Then they moved to California in 1931. They did a movie called The House That Shadows Built, released by Paramount. Features a sequence from the opening audition scene of the review I'll Say She Is, which was that play they did in 1924. Then the first official full-length feature was Monkey Business, which I could actually play tonight. Monkey Business. Horse Feathers was after that. Then Duck Soup. I would say Duck Soup is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Horse Feathers is very good too. Those two I remember watching with my grandfather as a little kid, and they have a lot of sentimental value in that because it was something me and my grandfather could laugh at together. And so then Night at the Opera. Night at the Opera was a really good one too.
Yeah.
Day at the Races, very good. Then Room Service started to go downhill from Room Service. That's the one Lucille Ball's in, right? Yeah, Room Service is the one she's in. Then At the Circus, this is where they started doing the stuff to keep Chico out of debtor's prison. At the Circus, Go West, at the Big Store, Night in Casablanca. And then Love Happy, which I never saw, and I don't.
Is Love Happy the one with Marilyn Monroe?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's find out.
I think Love Happy was the one with Marilyn Monroe. And
wait, hold on. Yes, Marilyn Monroe. You're absolutely right. Features a memorable walk-on by a relatively unknown Marilyn Monroe. That was 1949.
And I think Marilyn Monroe was actually played by John Amos.
Well, that would be a
He
stretch.
had range. He had range. I'm telling you, the man, he was performing roles, speaking roles before he was born, and he actually played a woman in whiteface long before White Chick. He had range.
That was pretty good. I have to say. Now, if we could switch gears here, are you familiar with Ana de Armas? Ana de Armas.
Isn't that
She played.
Oh, I thought that was the one who made Salieri crazy in the movie.
Yeah, no, she played Marilyn Monroe. Now she is Cuban-born, but then moved to
Right.
Madrid, Spain, and only learned to speak English like 18 months before she did the role of Marilyn. She doesn't. She must be a genius because she learned to speak English completely without exposing any hint of Spanish accent, which is, I think, in 18 months, it's incredible.
Well, that's what shock therapy will do. That's what a good battery with some cables and clips that will get the accent right out of you.
And she's a brunette, but she played the blonde Marilyn very convincingly, I thought. I don't.
Well, oh, that's good. I mean, anytime you're a brunette and you can actually play a blonde, that's talented. That's real talent. Not a lot of women can pull that off.
Now, there were movies that Groucho was in. I don't remember any of these things. Copacabana in 1947.
Right.
He's in that movie. Mr. Music in 1961.
Don't know
Double
that.
Dynamite 1951. Girl in Every Port 1952. Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? He's in that? Oh, he's uncredited in that. I guess he's got a cameo in that 1957. That's Tony Randall. Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? I'm gonna have to watch that again and see where Groucho is in that.
Yeah, because I saw that movie. I'm thinking it's maybe he was doing like the Stan Lee before Stan Lee was doing the Stan Lee. Except for Stan Lee was doing it for his own characters, and Groucho may have been doing it to help Chico, or because he was bored.
Yeah. I'm so disappointed that Steve's not here. I wanted to ask him because the big question on everybody's mind, and Robert Klein seemed to be of the opinion that Erin Fleming did not deserve the bad rap that she got for abusing Groucho. A lot of people said she was abusive and all that stuff. According to just one little conversation I had with Steve on Twitter, he seemed to indicate that she was totally batshit crazy nuts. And abusive to him. I wanted to hear about that. Are you familiar with that whole controversy about because he hooked up with her? I think he was already in his 80s. She was 30.
Right. Well, most of the opinion that I have about that was in my mother's indoctrination. She's going like, "Oh, that's not love. She doesn't love him." But my mother was speaking as a younger woman who was looking for a man of that stature herself. So,
well, maybe she did love him. Maybe it wasn't romantic love, but if you're going to take care, I think if you take care of an older person, it's not an easy thing to do. You have to devote part of your life to it. I think you deserve part of their estate if that's what you're going to do. I have a friend who's he's not a female. It's not like that kind of relationship, but he's taking care of an old man. He's got his house. The old man signed over power of attorney and all that stuff. The guy's 96, but this guy, he changes his diaper. He goes everywhere with this fucking guy. Brings him to all his doctor appointments. Gets him in the hospital when he needs hospital. All that stuff. If you're going to do that, that's an act of love, a labor of love. And as weird as that seems, you deserve part of their estate. If their kids aren't going to take care of them, and you are, right? So I
agree. I mean, to be honest, my mother, when she got older, I mean, I would still go. As a matter of fact, it's funny because I was not her favorite child. Her favorite child was still the firstborn son.
Mama,
but I was the one. But I was always the one who went in and helped. Myself and my nephew and my nieces were the ones always went in and checked on her and did those things.
You're Tommy Smothers of the Fendersons. You're Tommy Fenderson. And Mom always liked you best. That was it. That was the shtick. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the reality. But the thing is, my mother was honest about it. I mean, I was very young when she said that any parent who doesn't have a favorite child is lying to you.
Wow.
And then she told me, she goes, and she broke it down. She goes, Cookie will always be my favorite because she's my firstborn. She goes, Ralph will be my favorite son because he's my firstborn son. And then the other two,
my mother didn't admit it, but I definitely believe that that was true. I think my brother was her favorite. I know I was an accident. I was a mistake.
Oh yeah,
not meant to happen. But she never came out and said like Michael's my favorite one, but I you know, actions speak louder than words sometimes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My mom made no bones about it. I was not her. Matter of fact, she says I was her most difficult child, but
Oh, I could see
she,
that.
but she says that was because of well, there's a
You,
couple of reasons.
you
Okay, I'll be honest because I'm putting it out there anyway. My middle brother was actually conceived rape by way of rape.
oh,
My mother and my father were actually separated, and my father used the ploy, "I'm coming by to visit my other kids," and then they had a disagreement, a classic disagreement. The whose pussy is this? A disagreement. Uh, my mother maintained it was hers, and he goes, "No, this is my pussy," and I'm taking it. And so
whoa.
my middle brother was conceived that way, and
All right.
so yeah. Go
I
ahead.
want. How? When did you find this out? Did you know this as a kid?
I knew this as a kid, but not before my father died.
Wow.
And I found out part of it's one of those things where most of the family did not know, and they just thought that my mother, what she did was when that she couldn't get an abortion back in the 50s. She couldn't get an abortion, so she carried him to term, and she left him at the hospital. She just up like okay, and she didn't take him home. She just left him there,
Holy crap.
and so one of my aunts did not want him to go into the system, so she raised him. But she lived right around the corner from us. And so when I was little, I did not know that he was my brother. I actually thought he was my cousin until I started the first grade and we were outside. We were playing Army and we were doing roll call. And it was like my brother, the oldest one, goes, "Private First Class Ralph Henderson, ma'am." And then it goes like, my brother Bryant goes, "Private First Class Bryant Fenderson." And I said, "You're not a Fenderson, you're a Hudson." And not only that, I didn't know his name was Bryant because we always called him Pint. So I said, "And your name is Pint, not Bryant." I was like, I was just starting kindergarten, and he goes, "No, I'm Bryant Fenderson. I'm your brother." And I looked at my oldest brother Ralph, and he just nodded his head like this. And
Wow.
so I thought they were fucking with me. So my brother, so my like they knew they were brothers, but I was like I said, I was just starting kindergarten, and I had no idea that he was actually my brother. I didn't know that he was. I thought he was my cousin. I go in the house. I said, "Mom, is Brian my brother? Is he a Fenderson or a Hudson?" And she goes, "No, he's your brother." And I said, "Why does he live around the corner at Aunt Estelle's house?" And my mother goes, "Because she wanted him." And that was it.
Ooh,
So,
ouch.
yeah, yeah.
Poor kid.
And so,
I feel
yeah,
bad for him already just hearing that.
everybody says that, but he was a dick. See, that's just
But
it. Now, I don't know. I
you
don't know
would
if he
be a dick
became a dick.
too.
Yes, and that's it. That's just it. Everybody says that. Everybody says that you would be a dick too. But I wasn't. But my mother gave me to my grandmother to be raised. So I didn't become. I didn't go. My mother didn't take me back until my grandfather died. And my mother told me. She said, my mother says the only reason why I took you back was because otherwise your grandmother would raise you, and I hate that woman. I was not. So she took me back just to hurt my grandmother. My
Wow.
grandmother would have raised me.
Wow.
Yeah, my mother was a truth speaker with the right amount of alcohol.
Yeah. Well, my mother, when she was suffering from dementia and on her last days, came up with. Now, I knew my father was he fucked around a lot. I caught him. This is a whole other story. I caught him fucking the next door neighbor who was a young, hot German woman. I caught him fucking
Ooh,
her when I was like 7 years old. Well, I didn't catch him. I saw him. And she saw me looking through the window. That's a whole other story. But she knew I knew my father. But I knew very well that my father fucked around a lot. He was a horny fuck. But my mom, close to her deathbed, told me that my father had fucked one of her best friends. She didn't say fucked. She had impregnated one of her best friend, one of my mother's best friends, who my mother stayed friends with all my life. And it seemed to indicate that I had a half sister. She indicated that I had a half sister that but my brother swears that was just a dementia talking. I don't know any of it was true, but it definitely fucked me up. And I was 55 years old, 57 years old at the time when I heard it. No, 55 years old when I heard it, and it still kind of scarred me a little bit. Just it changed my whole view. I can't. Maybe it's easier if you find out when you're a kid, then you grow up. Do you still have a relationship with your brother that you say he was a dick?
Well, it's a difficult relationship because he died from AIDS or
Oh,
complications due to AIDS. But yeah, he. I tried to have a good relationship with all of my siblings, even though it was difficult. But I tried because that's what my father wanted me to do before he died. Like my father died when I was 8, and my father and that's one of he was just finding out how smart I was. Before then, he just thought I was such a weird kid.
wow.
Well, first of all, so you and I, both of us, here's something like I said, we have so much in common. Both of our fathers had dyslexia, where their dicks were just like confused and just
Right.
going, yeah. So both of our dads had dyslexia. Both of our dads were involved in organized crime, right? My father was in the numbers business, and your dad,
He started in the numbers business, then went to football tickets and stuff like that, and then became a full-blown bookie.
yeah. So my father was in straight up numbers because he didn't have to write anything down. He memorized everything.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and that's how he found out that I had the same gift because it was like take your child to numbers day, and so he took me with him, and he didn't know what to talk about because, like I said, I was an odd child. My father had no idea how to relate to me at all. Like I said, because for the first 5 years of my life, I was raised by his mother, so he didn't really know me that way. And then he got to spend like a couple of years with me as my dad, and he's like still learning about the strange kid with the strange, memories and ads and stuff like that. So he was talking to me. He goes, "So, what did Miss Johnson want?" And I said, "Miss Johnson wanted 115 who played three ways for a dime." And he goes, "What about Miss Hill?" And I ripped through all of his accounts for that day and what the numbers they wanted and how much they paid. And my father was like, "Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think I have an heir apparent to the numbers racket."
How many toothpicks in the box, Ray?
See, and that kind of my memory was like that, and that was why I didn't have a lot of friends because I memorized things that they didn't want me to remember.
Yeah.
And that was
Well,
also why my mother didn't like me very much because I remembered things that she did not want me to remember.
guess who forgot to say goodbye to Govs 15 minutes ago?